You know, when Auntie and I were in our pseudo-friendship, that was to come to a bitter end. Something I never would have predicted, simply because, remember, it was formed and kept going for the sake of my mom. My fragile, mentally ill mom who benefited from me and her sister getting along. But anyway, Auntie would bring up things like that I didn't want to discuss. I would never bring them up. I don't want to discuss a time my mom's not around. You understand? I didn't want to discuss that. I already told you, we were driving in the car and she brought up the 401. I just think it's so, like, you know, in the end I got shit because I am shit in this life, and you know what I mean? But she brought this shit up. She brought up the 401k, saying about how that company doesn't do things right when it comes to probate, or they make it go through something, whereas other companies will just give it to the beneficiary directly and not make it go through this or that. And then the house. She would talk about how, you know, before you know it, you'll be old enough to live there anyway, and etc., etc. And I go, I have no intention of ever staying in this house when if my mom's not, you know, no longer around or whatever. And she goes, oh, well, if that time comes, I'll help you sell the house and buy a condo. You know what I mean? You guys have to see the fucking, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if you call it irony, but in one fell swoop, my aunt took everything from me. But she was the one who would, would bring up shit like that I didn't want to discuss, because it would mean discussing my mom being dead. Okay, I didn't want to discuss it, right? But she did bring shit like that up. She also said about the 401k, yeah, they're not very aggressive, but you'll be younger when you have that 401k, so you should have them do more aggressive, stocks or whatnot, investments. Again, I'm thinking to myself, this involves my mom not being around. I don't want to discuss it. And Joe, when all this went down, he's like, you have to fight it, that's your inheritance. I don't get an inheritance, Joe. I get shit in this life because I am shit, and more than ever before, I wish my mother had aborted me like my father was ordering her to do, okay? But not only do I get shit, okay? I would have got shit had my mom been made a ward of the state back in summer 2015. I mean, I told you, we won that case by the skin of our teeth, right? But at least my aunt wouldn't have been able to rewrite history, rewrite the past, and make, you know what I mean? At least, even though I would have still got shit, the truth of reality of what went down between me and my mom would not have been rewritten by my fucking aunt, just because she becomes God over my mom. And she gets to rewrite and pretend things happen the way they didn't happen, and she knows they didn't happen. You understand? You have to be really deep to get where I'm coming from here, okay? In the end, I would have got shit, and then if that had happened, I would have still had my mother, and Auntie wouldn't get to just rewrite things the way you know what I mean? She's rewriting history. My little personal history with my mom. She started with all the lies under penalty of perjury on the court documents and lying about me and whatever. You know what I mean? She's taking over. Like I said, I bet she, as a guardian, she can cut my mind off from all her former friends, and me, of course, anybody. and just rewrite the past and pretend it happened differently and pretend she was so, she doesn't put me down as anything. It's a healthcare proxy. It's all bullshit. It's evil. It's nothing less than evil people. Like Joe said, it's the evil people do on a grand scale. They justify anything for the so-called, quote, greater good, unquote. In Auntie's mind, the greater good, you can make me to a scapegoat, use me, just, for the greater good of supposedly saving your sisters. It's bullshit. That's what she's doing. By lying through her teeth left and right on those court documents and making the reality that happened between me and my mom out to be completely different than it actually was. And between her and my mom. Okay? My mom, not long before this happened, wanted me to be her fucking healthcare proxy. She made me her healthcare proxy. She wanted it to be that way even when Auntie was the health. You understand? That's a big fucking deal. And now Auntie just in one fell swoop took everything from me and is gonna just rewrite the past the way, you know what I mean? It's sick, sick, sick.